Story takes us to Munich, where world leaders are gathered for a security conference. And among them is U.S. Vice President Joe Biden, who has a clear message to the group outlining the new administration's foreign policy. He wants improved relations with Russia and increased efforts to defeat terrorism. For more now on how this could affect our Canadian mission in Afghanistan, I spoke with Mark Sedra. He's with the Centre for International Governance, Innovation in Waterloo and a noted author on the Canadian-Afghan mission. I asked him how much of an impact Afghanistan is going to have at the conference.
Yeah, Afghanistan is one of the big common denominators between Europe and the United States. It's the big issue for many European countries. The United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Germany all have massive troop presence in Afghanistan. So it is going to be one of the big issues on the table. And I think Joe Biden, one of the things he wants to do is to emphasize that the Obama administration is committed to Afghanistan. It will be shifting resources to Afghanistan from Iraq. And what it will want from its European allies is a similar demonstration that they also have a long-term and robust commitment to peace and stability in Afghanistan.
Yeah, we heard him talk about the troop shift, the shift in tone as well. So when you hear those things, how do you think that's going to impact Afghanistan directly? Do you think that that's going to be a big help? Those words and that shift in tone.
Yeah, certainly. I think that always one of the big concerns for people in Afghanistan and those in the Afghan government was that the United States was shifting or had allocated a significant amount of its resources to Iraq. Well, the Obama administration has clearly said that it will be rededicating many of the resources that were in Iraq to Afghanistan. There's going to be a troop surge. There's going to be an upsurge in the amount of resources, financial and human resources that will be made available to Afghanistan. So I think this is a very serious change in strategy that we're seeing from the U.S. administration.
We've also been talking not only today, but a lot in the past about what other NATO partners need to do. And the Secretary General of NATO, again, really spoke harshly about other European countries. So we hear this change in tone from the U.S., but other NATO countries aren't necessarily ponying up the troops. Do you think we're going to see a shift by the end of this conference in what happens with other European countries?
It's going to be extremely difficult for European countries and Canada, for that matter, to say no to Obama. There is the honeymoon with the Obama administration is still very much alive, and they've all been waiting for Obama to come to them and to ask for more troops and more resources for Afghanistan. The problem is for many European states is they believe they're already at the upper threshold of what they can provide feasibly. So I think that it will be difficult, but you will see at least a strong statement that they will continue to support the mission over the long term, even if you don't see a massive increase in resources being available.
Let's talk about Canada and what this all means for the Canadian mission. How do you think what we're hearing in Munich is going to affect what our troops are doing there?
Yeah. Well, I think certainly there is going to be pressure on the Canadian government to continue a commitment to Afghanistan beyond 2011. Now, even if it's not troops, I mean, you see that Vice President Biden, he spoke a lot about a comprehensive strategy for places like Afghanistan. That means development, that means governance. So it's not just military commitment. So even if Canada were to withdraw, I'm sure behind the scenes there is pressure and prodding from the U.S. administration to increase support in other areas, whether it's development, whether it's providing police trainers for the Afghan National Army, which are critical gaps currently in Afghanistan.
So help on a number of different levels.
Absolutely.
That is good news. In terms of everything you're hearing from the conference, you just got back from Afghanistan. You've traveled there and written about it extensively. How hopeful are you that what you're hearing is actually going to help on the ground? Just tell me a bit of what you've seen and how this might help.
Well, people in Afghanistan today, in the government and those in the international community, are quite encouraged and hopeful about the Obama effect, that there will be this new commitment to Afghanistan, that there is going to be 30,000 new troops that are going to materialize, and also an engagement with Pakistan. We see that the Obama administration has appointed Richard Holbrooke to be the envoy, not just to Afghanistan, but to Pakistan, to show that these two conflicts in these two countries are connected and they have to make one large diplomatic push for both. So that's very encouraging. But what I'm concerned about is the answer to the problems in Afghanistan isn't just throwing more troops into the counterinsurgency gauntlet. What has to be, careful thought has to be given into where these troops are going. And I think one area is to provide more assistance to training of the Afghan security forces, to enable them to take control of their own security in Afghanistan, because that is the only long-term sustainable solution for the country.